Okay. Get started by acknowledging and saying our prayers for Lonnie Demery. Really sad to hear the news about him last week. A man I really respected and liked. Of course, I don't get to see the Browns gear anymore in here. So what's that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, somebody's got to leave their ringer on. So just to break it up for me a little bit. But now looking forward to getting back at it. We got another challenge here this week with Auburn. You know, Auburn's a team, you look at the record and everybody's going to think that, you know, it's a bad football team. It comes down to turnovers for them. They're a very good team. Turnover margin's been the big issue. So for us, you know, another big challenge. We got to worry about ourselves and getting better and putting it all together and playing a good football game.
Mark, we talked so much about the home road stuff the last 2 weeks. Do you do anything differently this week to try and just shake up the routine before another home game?
I think I do. Yeah, I do some. I tried last week, you know, the last home game, to talk about that and address it a little bit. Yeah, I think I do look at a few things, yes, especially with pregame when we get there and things of that nature.
Mark, when you looked at the film, especially Florida's long pass plays, what did you see on film?
Yeah, there's a combination of things. You know, one or two, like the late one, you know, good coverage, unbelievable catch. I don't know if you saw the catch on TV, but, you know, you look at it closely, one-handed, you know, catch, very good throw and catch there. I think some of the other ones, you know, I mentioned it briefly after the game, but when they're having the success that they've had in the run game, it opens some things up. And, you know, one set in particular, you know, we obviously got to play it better, have played it better. You know, even the same set, same plays, same shots, have played them better in the past, have played them better this year. With the weak side run game out of the unbalanced on one set, you know what I mean? It shortened our cut middle player, you know what I mean? It didn't get as much help on one of them, so it's a combination of things. With the run game, opened up some things. Another one of the over routes. You know, you look at it on film and really incredible throw and catch. You know, so I want to credit them and DJ for the way he played. His arm talent was quite impressive watching the film, and the way he, you know, could throw off a back foot, throw a little bit unbalanced, change his arm angle, and still drop it over people was impressive. And you know, we need to play better. We were close on some, weren't close on others, and just need to play better. And I want to, and again, credit them for some of the good things they did as well.
You mentioned close. You still haven't scored 21 in an SEC game. Do you feel close to finding something there?
Yes, and you know, we have to finish plays, you know, finish drives. I think once again, you know, as I mentioned, it's not quite as magnified if we have with the opportunities that we have if we get them in the end zone. You know, when you know, there's no excuse for not getting in on 3rd and short and 4th and short. You know, we got to get the ball in the end zone. We're close, and you know, we got to finish drives a little bit better, and we'll have an opportunity to score more.
What is the balance in those short yardage situations? Like, obviously, you don't want to risk a bad play. The obvious thing is just line it up and run it, but it wasn't working, and then you hit the one pass. How do you balance?
When the pass in the open field, it's a little different. You have a little more room. You know, in the 1 yard line, you know, sure, there's a balance there. Later, we had it from the 3, and we were going to throw the ball, and that's really the only time. I know everybody thinks I'm not opening myself up here for the criticism. Criticism's fair, but you know, I don't get involved in play calling. And but they did ask me on the 3 when we had first and goal on the 3. And I absolutely said pound it, like pound the rock, and we did, and we scored. You know what I mean? Like, let's not get cute now. We can be physical. We could run it in here. I told them they had 4 downs because it was first and goal. So I said, let's not outthink this. you know, on the others, I didn't say a word. You know what I mean? I said, you know, play what call what you want to call. I thought he made a great call on the 4th and 2. You know, when we were discussing it, I said, I told him to go for it, and I said, what are you going to do? He said, well, throw it. I said, do it. And, he made a good call. So.
When Chip had the reputation of being that physical back, can he help in those situations?
I think he can. I think I'd like to see him work into that. I mean, he is coming off a broken two surgeries, on one hand. So I think that's a fine line also. If I give it to him on the one, I think you'd be asking me, why did I give it to him if he fumbled it on the one? You know what I mean? I think that'd be a fair criticism, so I think that's something that we have to balance and make sure he can do,
What did Chip show you in the limited carries he had, and what kind of...
Pardon me?
What did Chip show you in those limited carries he had, and what kind of potential is he at?
Yeah, I think he helps. I mean, he's just a good guy. He's one of those players that very mature. He brings a toughness and a maturity that you'd love to have for the entire year. We haven't had it. It's good to see him back in there, and hopefully he'll continue to grow and get more confident and help us.
You mentioned the criticism a couple of times. It's growing louder towards you. What's your message to your critics right now?
I'm talking about play calls like, go for it, not, you know what I mean? Like those are, I critique myself and, things of that nature. The outside noise, I can't bother myself zero with that. You know what I mean? There's absolutely, I think, I've been around here a long time. You could face a bad day in tough times with a good attitude, and that's what I'll do. We'll go to work, and I think that. I'm not going to sit up here and flinch.
Mark, you said on your post-game radio show that you mentioned you don't often see a team move Kentucky off the ball as Florida was able to do. Once you look at the film, is that just Florida being good, or was it a problem on the defensive front?
Yeah, I think that Florida's strong, big, and again, our guys are getting we're getting beat down a little bit. We're getting hurt. We're getting thin, but no excuses. It is what it is. It's a fact. That's it. We need to play better.
With the struggles on offense, are you guys looking at shaking anything up from how you attack? Coming out a little bit more aggressive to maybe giving Gavin a little bit more reps throwing the ball. How are you guys kind of approaching that? Noticing, especially in SEC play, next week you have to score that.
I think it's looking at all options. Yeah, looking at all options. What gives us the best opportunity to move the ball? What gives us the best opportunity to win?
Mark, how do you assess Barryon at this point? Obviously, he's maybe your best big play threat, but the reliability doesn't always seem to be there. He makes a mistake, makes up for it with the kickoff return. Just where do you see him at?
I think, he's a guy that means well, that has improved, has worked really hard, and, eventually you're going to see that pay off on the field for him. Just like anybody, if you keep on, putting your head down and going to work, eventually you'll see that come to fruition.
Mark, you talked about accountability and ownership by the players. Not that you're laying anything on them, but the last couple of weeks, has that been an issue?
I was, proud of the fact that we had limited our penalties, with just, in a very hostile environment. I thought that was a good improvement. I thought the guys practiced well. I said that, I believe I mentioned that after the game, but, I appreciate our players. I think there's things we could all do better, and that ownership will always stay in our program and accountability, and we'll keep on grinding it out and going to work, and that's people will say that's redundant, but it's the truth. I mean, what else are you going to do? I mean, there's no mercy. Again, we're playing a team this week that is a good football team. I know the roster. I know the way they recruit. I see the front seven. I see the guys on defense, their offense, the weapons that they have, the explosive plays that they create. We can't count on just, the turnovers have set them back. Like I told you before, there's a thin line between success and failure. they're the same way. This is a good football team. I don't care what their record says. I know the players that they have on their roster, so, we understand that, and for us, it's about just getting back to work and doing things the best we can.
How will their receivers challenge your secondary?
They're talented. They have a lot of explosive plays, and they could go, and I think with Thorne, I think he's really settled in, and you see a confidence and a comfort level at the quarterback position where early there was some instability, but I think he's really solidified himself with some really talented receivers and a really physical, really talented running back.
Mark Malachi got some run and looked like he held his water okay. Are you pleased with his advancement?
Yeah. I am, yeah. I was pleased with him, yes.
What's the morale like right now in the locker room?
We'll be fine. It's a tough business. It's a tough league. It's, our guys understand that. They physically got to get healthy. We got to get treatment. We got to balance that, but we got to get prepared to play another really good game.
You mentioned Thorne. What kind of threat is he in the running game?
He's more mobile than you think, and he's. Like I said, I think I could see him settling in. They had every opportunity to beat a very, very good Missouri team on the road, and had every opportunity to win that game. And so, you could see it coming.
Mark, what was your assessment of Alex Afari?
Alex is doing some good things. He moving him around a little bit, playing that outside the medium position, playing some inside. Still getting acclimated to the inside reps, but doing some good things. It's like anybody. It seems like defensively, it's a person here, a person there. One play. It's not any one group. It's not any one person. And you're not going to be successful that way. We got to be really consistent.
Mark, back to the shot plays, how many of those were maybe just, I don't know, communication issues or person playing the wrong, or was it a lot of just getting beat?
I can't think of any communication issues. There's problems within the scheme of who, if you're zone and who's carrying the the 3 up. Like there's things within there that happen that people can play better. I wouldn't call that communication. I would just say, we need to play it a little better, and when it all works together. I mean, when there's time and operation are involved as well, with pressure and things of that nature. So defense all fits together.
When the defense plays well, really all year, but then just has a tough game like that, is it almost like the week after you don't have to do a lot of tinkering and hands-on? Really, you expect them to just kind of bounce back and be as they were?
I don't ever take anything for granted, as far as what nothing happens automatically. I mean, we have to put in the work. We will, as always, hold them accountable, show this film, and own our own issues, and move on.
What can Cutter take from just those last 2 drives?
Yeah, I think he will learn a lot just from that. Just from that, And I told him afterwards, I'm sorry, dude. I threw you right into that. Like, this tough. And he, the thing about him is, I knew that going into it, is he's not a fragile young man. Like, there's nothing fragile about him. Especially with his mind. I mean, he's a strong kid, and he'll learn from it. After the first play, I think he settled in, and he really ripped some balls, but he got to slow down a little bit. He threw it really hard, and he could throw the football. It's just like slow down a little bit, and that just comes from experience and playing.
Mark, I know you can't comment on officiating, but playing near the goal line when it looked like you had a first down and it would have been first and all that. I could tell you were so frustrated trying to communicate, but I think it was the line judge. Is that an issue at times with officials? Like, you just have a hard time being heard? Because it sounded like he didn't want to give you any.
No, he heard me.
Did he understand you?
Oh yeah, he understood. Yeah, I really don't have any other comment there.
Aren't they on the third down, or before the fourth, that maybe something like Demi got to the 1 yard line on his run, which was about the first down line, and the ball was spotted at the 2.5. Is there anybody from upstairs? Does anybody though ask for, can you challenge that?
That's, part of my discussion with them was like, are they looking at it? What happens is I lost a challenge, a week or two before. If they don't stop it, if they don't see anything on there, I'm not going to win the challenge anyway. And I did call the timeout there, I think. And that was part of my discussion was, is it worth the challenge? Essentially, they're looking at it anyway. You know what I mean? So whatever result, whether I challenge it or stop play, they are looking at it. So if it was going to be reversed, they would buzz it and reverse it. Generally speaking, I think you know this, anything that's called on the field in those type of situations is what's going to happen.
Did you get any explanation from the league on the touchdown that nobody could see how that was a touchdown late in the fourth?
I have not. I have not heard back yet. I generally will get those probably tonight, although I have a feeling they're quite busy, so it might be tomorrow.
Would you like to see more of an NFL type system where a coach has a red flag to throw out and have coaches decide more of the challenges than the
Well, we have one. We have one challenge. I don't have that flag to throw, which is probably a good thing. So, no, I'm joking, but if I say any more, I'll get annihilated. So, I like working with you all. I think we have a good, you understand me. We've been here for a long time going through this. But when I elaborate, somebody grabs something, and next thing you know, I'm complaining. So it's just, I can't be fun, Mark, today. You guys are professionals, and just some people don't listen to the whole conversation. They just grab a piece, and the next thing you know, I'm whining and complaining. So I'm gonna make that very clear. I'm not.
Mark, do you know Hugh Freeze very well?
Yeah, I know Hugh from his first go around, and then back in the league here a little bit. Just, I wouldn't say we're as close as I am with some of the other guys in the league, but I really like you. Just hadn't spent as much time with them here.
You mentioned about their turnovers, but what normally characterizes one of these teams?
Yeah, I mean, he's a very good play caller. I mean, they're aggressive offense, and they have some dynamic guys. I mean, I know the way they recruit, and the team that he's assembled and the weapons that are out there. So that's real. There's some guys there, and I think, like I said, I really feel like they're settled down at quarterback now and settled in, and you can see that paying off for them. So they could create some explosives.
Mark, on those goal line replay reviews, there's so much congestion, there's never a good look. Is there a solution for that?
I don't know. I don't have one.
Mark, did the film change your assessment of how Brock played at all, or is it?
I think Brock, there were times when he didn't get help. There were times when he was a little bit sped up, and maybe threw some things with not the touch or the accuracy that was needed in critical moments. And then there were some times when he played well. I think, in that situation, we all have to play well. We have to play better around him. I think we did protect a little better than we've been. But we just all got to do a little bit better.
Mark, is there a message to the players and to the fans to defend home field? This is the last SEC home game. It's a chance to get a home game win.
Yeah, I mean, it's an important game. We've had incredible atmospheres. Again, I think the importance to myself and our team to play well everywhere, on the road and at home. And, again, I know the great sacrifices that people make, and it's important to us. I mean, it's very important to go play well. So, we will be out there, and I promise you our team will work extremely hard and be prepared and ready to go.
Mark, the extra point that missed, was it just missed kick, snap, or what wrong?
Yeah, but bad kick, Yeah, bad kick. You know, the snap wasn't great. You know, and we did put in Walker after that. We did put in another snapper on the next one, and trying to just get some stability in there.
At the end of the first half, when you call a timeout and then they do re-kick, what was the thought process there of trying for the block versus potentially putting Barry on back there to get a big return?
Turning the ball over, you know what I mean? It was gusty, it was windy, there was 13 seconds left. I mean, it's pretty hard, you know, to get with the way they punt, you know what I mean, to get a punt return, you know, for a touchdown. That's easier said than done. I thought so we tried to block it.
I know you get conscious of putting Barry on back there and punt returns too much for his body, right, taking too many hits, but so as the season goes on, is that even less likely that he gets out there and punts, or because he's such a threat, could he be back there more?
I never said that was the reason that taking too many hits. I think earlier, the amount of work that he does. I mean, his conditioning. There's a lot of things that come into play with that. But yes, there's definitely a consideration with using him back there because he's a dynamic guy.
Mark, I know you talked before about the programs beyond just getting to bowls as the standard, but how important is it keeping it straight line?
Well, I mean, you know, it is important. I mean, you know, we're in the right now, you know, and trying to win this game, you know, and that's where we have to stay focused. Is it important? I mean, I think it is in the grand scheme of things. I mean, you know, there's only 8 schools in the country that have gone to 8 straight. I mean, there's only 4 in the SEC. It's not easy, you know, and it's just not.
Anyone else?
Mark, as tough as the final score was, you had to come from behind all night, and you were in the game, you know, up to a
Yeah, that's what's frustrating. Sorry to cut you off there, Dick, but it's like, yeah, I mean, that's how it felt. Like, got away from you so close, but you're sitting there in the 4th with a 2-score game and the ball. But anyway, finish your question. I cut you
I
off.
was
Yeah.
just going to say, is that something you emphasize with the team when you go back and look at it?
Yeah, it is. Like, you're not far off. You know what I mean? We gotta finish drives. You know, we know that. We all understand that. You know, when you got the ball inside the 3, you got to get it in. You know, and you know, so we're not as far off as we think. And even defensively, there's some plays that it looks bad, but you know that are fixable. You know, and so you know, we got to get back. We got to get some guys healthy. There's a fine line this week. You know, with me, with you know how we practice. I don't generally mess with my practice schedule in season. I think, but you know, I have to look at how much banging and how physical we are on Tuesday and Wednesday, like we normally are, with good against good, because we're getting thin. You know, so but we'll have them ready. We'll have them ready to go.
Cox only had 3 carries. He's not on the depth chart. Is that part of the health issue going into this week?
No, he should be good to go by game time, and he'll continue to get carries. And you know, we need to get him the ball, and we need to continue to bring him along in all areas.
Mark, obviously no team wants to play from behind, but is there a way to, maybe it's a big picture off-season thing, to where it doesn't feel like when you get behind multiple scores that it's such a slog to get back in the game?
Yeah, I think it's, yeah, absolutely. You know, we need to look at it. We need to be better. You know, we are in this situation right now, you know, and we have to find a way to win. But yes, I'd like it to look different as well.
Perfect. You know, Oklahoma's struggling. Texas, big home game. Georgia puts it on them. Is it just back up what you guys are already in the league have been saying for a long time? It's just the strength of the league.
It's quite ridiculous this year. Yeah, it's quite ridiculous. You know, so there's a lot of talent in this league. You know, and you know, I feel like it's only going to get stronger. You know, so I can't control all of that. Yes, we watch it. Yes, my colleagues and I talk and commiserate together. But you know, some of those guys are crying on the yacht. You know what I mean? So, yeah. All right. Yeah, I got a little John boat.